Hey everyone, today we'll be going over how to build C++ functions all under 5 minutes, and without any further hesitation, let's get started. So first, when we have our function which would be considered a fundamental data type, and inside of a function we will have parameters, and those parameters will also encompass other fundamental data types that we will pass through as a function. And functions expect an initialized data type and return a specific data type unless working with void functions as well. We first see the fundamental data type that we are working with for our function, and we then initialize a specific data type that we are trying to return inside of our function. Then we are trying to figure out exactly how to modify that function by using different statements to be able to actually modify what we initialize, and then we finally return what we have initialized as a return output for our given function. C++ executes line by line for every single statement which we end with a semicolon. And we have expression statements which evaluate the expressions. We have declaration statements which introduce variables, constants, or functions. We have compound statements which are basically functions and present an output as well. Then we have control statements which alter a program's flow, and examples include if, for, and while loops. We also have jump statements which transfer control, which include break, continue, return, or go to. Then we have input and output streams, which would be typically cout and cin, along with left shift operators for outputs and right shift operators for inputs. And we also have function calls, which call upon a function with the given parameters that you also want to use. And pointers in particular are very useful in this case in order to actually make computation faster in that. And the different types of pointers that we would typically use in this case would be a null pointer, void pointer, wild pointer, angling pointer, smart pointer, function pointer, this pointer, constant pointer, pointer to constant, or pointer to pointer, where they are typically used to be able to modify different references in one case to another. Also have the or operator, which is used typically whenever we are trying to set an or condition. For instance, if we are trying to have one condition already set up for a specific rule that we want to have set in place. And an and operator is also useful as well whenever we are trying to modify or get access to further data simultaneously that is consistently changed and stored. And the and operator is widely used for pass-by references whenever we are trying to modify a specific part inside of our parameter. Say, for instance, that we have a vector. A vector is typically used as an array that is dynamic and more values can be added. So in one aspect for vectors is that we can add data types inside of it, even strings, which are not considered fundamental data types, but an array of different characters as well, but they're treated as a fundamental data type in C++. The different types of loops that we would have inside of C++ are going to be for each, but for each loops are treated differently. We can have one aspect of a data type over an encompassing data type that we would have. Say, for instance, we have a vector of strings, and then we also are looking for a specific word inside of our string of words, for instance. Then we also have while loops as well, which are Boolean set type of conditions with a predefined set condition, and then reiterate and keep going until we finally break the loop or the increment has already been ended inside of our condition for our while loop. And specifically, if we are trying to find key points whenever we're trying to have an if-else statement, we would have if, else, and else statements as well in that order whenever we are trying to make different conditions already set up in place. We use constant as well and static to be able to define our given points where we do not actually need to have any values changed. And constructors, on the other hand, are typically used whenever we are calling upon a class and its parameters, and we are able to call upon different functions and have it already set with predefined values that we are able to put inside of our parameters. Here is an animation for exactly how constructors typically work. Now, for coding assessments in general, they would typically have all the libraries already predefined inside, so there's no need to be able to import libraries or have using namespace as well if you are calling upon inside of C++, because the libraries and all the other conditions have already been set in place. The rules in how we actually set up our given single functions are the following: is that one, we need to actually have our initialized values, and we can choose whatever fundamental data type in whatever context of the question that we have. Then we need to figure out how we're going to modify a given fundamental data type using different conditions over how we will control the flow of our given C++ program and what exactly we will be returning after we have our fundamental data type already modified. And yes, this altogether encompasses the fundamental syntax over when to use specific points and operators as well in C++. Hey everyone, thank you very much for taking time to watch this. If you found this video helpful, be sure to feel free to please like and subscribe. If you have any questions as well, please put them in the comment section. And as always, take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.